Hey crafty friends, Kim from Stamping and Scrapping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a set of 15 cards and I'm using Kendra's card challenge number 9. Now this challenge is about to be finished. It goes through the end of March. These are 3-month challenges. And the contest here goes from January 1st to March 31st. So if you want to enter, you still have plenty of time to do this. And there are some amazing, amazing prizes from all sorts of different craft companies. So for these printable this printable set of PDF files here, you get 6 cutting diagrams for 6 pieces of 6x6 pattern paper. So I'm using this collection from the Not Too Shabby shop. Now you also get 15 card sketches with challenge number 9. The number of card sketches varies from challenge to challenge. This challenge has 15 card sketches. So I'm going to use this sketch and cutting diagram set to create a set of 15 cards with this gorgeous kit from the Not Too Shabby shop. And these monthly kits are a little on the pricey side, but I always feel like I get my money's worth because to start with, I always get 2 packages of pattern paper. In this kit, I got 2 packages of 6x6 pattern paper. Sometimes you get slimline papers, but I love this paper. It's always heavyweight. It's double-sided. The colors are always bright and vibrant, and the patterns are always beautiful. So I picked 6 patterns out of this. I mean, this is 48 sheets of paper. I need 6 pieces for this project. So I took 5 pieces from the Spring is Here collection and 1 sheet from the bunny ears because I loved that Harlequin pattern. And I thought it coordinated really well with the other patterns. So these are the patterns I'm going to use. I'm going to stick to this side of the paper. I picked papers that had one side that I loved that was not directional. And you can see some of the backside pieces are directional, so I don't want to mess with that. They are gorgeous. I have plenty of this paper left over to make some scrapbook layouts and to use these in my traveler's notebooks and create a whole nother set of cards if I want to. So I'm happy with that. So I'm excited about it. It will take me an afternoon to make these cards. Here you can see what else came in the kit. I had this great stencil. Then I got 2 of these beautiful stamp sets that are the Not Too Shabby Shop stamp sets with the Easter theme. I love the bunny gnomes. This bunny is absolutely gorgeous. There's always plenty of sentiments. And I love that the kits come with gorgeous die cuts. Like, these are absolutely beautiful. They coordinate with both paper packs. So there's some in there that coordinate with the Spring is Here and some that coordinate with the bunny papers. So I am excited to get started. I'm going to go ahead and do all my cutting and put my cards together, and then I want to show you how I decorated each of them. My cutting is all done. I've put my cards together. Now I just want to show you the supplies that I always have on hand. Some of the card sketches show vertical cards. Some show the horizontal landscape orientation. So I've got plenty of card bases cut at 4 1/4 by 11. I score and fold those at 5 1/2. And I've got some at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored and folded at 4 1/4. And here are the other tools that I'm using. Lots of adhesives, including some foam. I've got lots of embellishments and my embellishment tools. Most of those tools came from Cat Scrappiness. All of the embellishments came from Cat Scrappiness, and she's got amazing tools over on the Cat Scrappiness shop. She's one of the sponsors for this challenge. And here is card number 1, and you can see card number 1 has a couple of strips of cardstock. I'm using a nice bright yellow on this particular card. I stuck with this nice deep bright yellow because I love the way it made that purple pop. And I'm also using a deep, like, grapey purple, and I have a very light violet that I'll also use on some of the cards. So I cut down those strips, and then I'm using the die cuts. My original plan was to do a bunch of stamping, but this is actually like putting the cards together and cutting all the background pieces of solid cardstock really is time consuming. So I glue all of those pieces together, and then I use some foam dots on my sentiments and my images, the die cut images that I'm using. And I don't generally use die cuts to create cards, but I love the die cuts in these kits. So I use them all the time. And I always make sure to save some for a scrapbook layout or two. So I've put foam on the back of those, and you bet ya I'm going to use some of these gorgeous pearls from Cat Scrappiness. One of them is a peach set. One of them is a really gorgeous, deep, almost a variegated purple. I decided to use some of the yellow ones, and I like with the kits how some of them come with a variety of sizes, some don't. Most of the pearls come with a variety of sizes, so there are at least 3 sizes of pearls in each one of those containers. And that completes the first card. Like, so simple. Once you get the card put together, it's just really fun to just spend an hour decorating the cards. So this is, like I said, a time-consuming process. All the links will be below. These card sketches and cutting diagrams will only be available through the end of March. Then Card Challenge 10 comes out. You can have access to all 9 of the challenges so far with the PDFs if you join Kendra's Patreon group. She's got a Patreon group where you'll have access to all of the challenges if this is your first challenge. Or if you want, maybe you've done a couple of the challenges and you want to do some of the older challenges, you can join her Patreon group and get all of that for free, plus a whole bunch of extra content. So on this one, I'm turning that pennant in the card sketch to, if I'm using die cuts like this, I really like to use those as my shape. So you can see the card sketches have, they have colors on them, and that coordinates with the card sketches. So if you see yellow on here, one of the papers is the yellow paper, and that's where you get that piece from. So here you can see I used that beautiful deep purple set of pearls here, and that is the magic wand tool from Maker Forte and just some simple Tombow glue. I like this Tombow glue because it dries clear and it dries matte, so it's perfect for this. And I love that tool. If you don't have a tool like that, it's well worth the effort, or well worth the money, I should say, to add to your stash. Okay, so for this one, I was thinking, here you can see I used 3 different colors of cardstock. I loved the combination of these 3 for spring, and they go so perfectly. So I'm just gluing on the little bits here, and I'm going to add some foam behind those bunny ears. It says, "I'm all ears." I think it's too cute not to use. I really like this little die cut. So there are some sentiments in the kit that work well for your scrapbook or for your cards here, and I always have fun with that. So I'm just going to continue going on and adding my die cuts, my sentiments, and my pearls. And there are some cards where I end up stamping the sentiments, and had I run out of die cuts, I have 2 different stamp sets that coordinate with the papers that I can use to create coordinating die cuts of my own. So that completes that card. So now this card, this is number 4, calls for a little strip of cardstock across, and I decided to use a bright purple just to anchor the sentiment here. I could have gone with yellow again, but I had a piece of purple that worked really well there. I did try the yellow. I suppose the yellow probably coordinates better, but I love that pop of purple. Purple is my favorite color. I don't know if you can tell. So it was the one thing, my daughter's getting married in July. When I asked her what she wanted me to wear, she was very specific about what colors I would should wear, and she said not purple or lime green. Now I promise I do wear a lot of purple, but I don't ever wear lime green. I don't know why she said that. I must have worn lime green once while she was growing up, and she was horrified apparently. But I do wear a lot of purple because I love it. It makes me so happy. So there's that card. Let's add a few of these pearls and finish this card. And the companies that are sponsoring prizes are fantastic companies. And there's a huge list of companies that you can win prizes from, either by commenting during the hops or by actually joining Kendra's Facebook group for the challenge. I'll put that link below. And participating, like make the 15 cards with the card set. And this is a fabulous way of using all your pattern papers. And here you can see the fun part is actually putting the, like Vicki Boutin calls this, putting the jewelry on. And it's pretty fun, actually, just to spend an afternoon decorating. So I generally break this into like 3 different sessions. I do all my cutting. And the thing that takes me, the pattern papers go so quickly because you have the cutting diagrams. What takes me a really long time is the colored cardstock mats. The mat layers take me a long time. So you can see some of the tools I'm using. I'm using that embellishment organizer from Cat Scrappiness. I'm using I have some reverse tweezers from Cat Scrappiness, and lots of, like, that little triangle tray is from Cat Scrappiness. She's also got an embellishment spoon that she has, which I don't have here for some reason. I don't know why I don't have it in my craft room here, but I think I left it. It's in storage with my other craft stuff in New York, so I'll see that again in May. But here you can see I'm using this like fun Easter tiered layer tin of goodies, and I'm gonna stamp this one now. So I pulled out my little mini Misty. This is perfect for just doing sentiments, pardon my head. And I'm going to stamp, I think it says, it might say Happy Spring. I'll have to see when I stamp it. So it's the first time I've used that particular stamp in these sets. So I just rubbed it on my arm to condition it and get the oils from manufacturing off. Now I'm using Catherine Pooler's Royal Treatment ink. Catherine Pooler definitely makes the best inks on the market. This is one of her beautiful colors, and she is one of the sponsors in this these challenges. So you can actually win some Catherine Pooler goodies. So I'm adding my embellishments, and for this one I chose to use a variegated rose and green, and it's like variegated rose, green, and like a minty green and white pearl, and it's so pretty. Like, these pearls are so pretty. They don't have adhesive on the back already, so you need to have your tools to do that, to add them. And so I use my Maker Forte tools and my Cat Scrappiness tools for that. So instead of the decorative border, I used a piece of ribbon. I love this ribbon. It's got a linen look. I got a roll of it at my local craft store, which is really just a big box store. So it wasn't very expensive because it was in their, clearance bin. I only buy ribbon in the clearance bin. So I'm adding again my foam dots, and you can see how easy it is to finish all these off. And did I make these cards perfectly? No, I did not. I accidentally used one of the paper strips from one paper on a card sketch for another paper, but since the other paper also had a card strip that size, it didn't matter in the end. My cards all got put together according to the sketches, with the exception of the one paper that I grabbed incorrectly, thereby making a second card not have the right paper strip either, but it worked out because several of them had the same size paper strips. So it looks like I'm using yellow here. I like to do a little triangle with the embellishments mostly. Sometimes I like to scatter them around the cards. You can see I'm just sticking to 3 embellishments, mostly because I'm stingy with my beautiful pearls and gems. So I generally use 3. You could also use the like pops of color product, or stickles, or the liquid pearls from Ranger. Like there's all kinds of products. I think they're called pops of color from scrapbook.com. So there's lots of things you can use to embellish your cards here. And some of the card sketches have embellishments included on them, some of them don't. So I did modify this sketch a little bit because those 2 little pieces were supposed to go on the ends of that strip. Instead, I used a piece of light lavender. I created little fishtail banners from, or some people call these dovetail banners, from the 2 pieces of pattern paper that were supposed to go on the edges with a larger die in between. I really liked the way this looked doing it this way, so I just made a little bit of modification. Remember, when you use a sketch, it's your final card. Change the sketch any way that you want. The sketches are meant to be inspiration to get you started and to give you a general layout, but you make it work with the supplies you're using. So I'll go ahead and add some pearls to this one, and then I'm just going to move on to the next card. I love the way that looks. The mats definitely make a difference. Sometimes when I do the challenge, I don't put the extra mats behind the pattern paper, and it gives a cleaner, simpler feel to the cards, but I love the way the mats always look. It's just so much more work. But again, I use as much from my scrap bin as I can, and I probably only went through, like 10 pieces of cardstock between the yellow, the grape purple, and the little violet purple. Okay, so see how quickly this one's going, because once you get the cards together, this part is easy. There's my next card. That is number, what is that, 11? Oh, that was 10. This is 11. And this is the card sketch that I used at the beginning of January to demonstrate. The design team always does a hop at the beginning of a challenge to show you examples of each layout. And each design member does a different sketch, which is pretty fun. And I did a couple different options on it. Like, this is the way, right now I'm using it the way that it's designed to be used. In my demo in January, which I have another video for that, I put some solid card mats behind each one of those strips of paper, and I really liked it. And for another one, I actually moved those 2 strips of paper closer together. And here you can see the spring wishes, and all the stamping that I'm doing, I'm using that Catherine Pooler purple royal treatment, and I love it. So here I've neglected to actually put this on a card base. I did not discover that it needs a card base till I went to take a picture of it to put on Instagram, and lo and behold, I had to add a card base to this, and it does look really nice with that white around the edge. Now the card sketches are actually calling for colored card bases, really. I really like a white card base, and I don't keep a ton of colored cardstock in my stash. So I tend to stock up on colors that I'm going to use for a season, and then use as much as I can. So I don't have a ton of cardstock in my stash. But since spring is coming, I did stock up on spring colors. So I have a few different shades of purple, a couple different yellows, some greens, pinks, and blues in pastel tones. So that's that. So this one is getting some yellow pearls. I really love those pearls. It just finishes off the card. And, most of the sketches don't have where to put those. but do what you love. You know how to make cards. That's why I didn't show you how to put the cards together or how to do the cutting. You know how to do that. Plus, Kendra has a YouTube video on that, how to use the cutting diagrams if you're not sure. It's that is available, and she's got that on her YouTube, which I think is called Cards by Kendra. Again, pardon my head, and I definitely love using the little Misty. So I'm going to stamp this and add it to the card along with some. So that finishes that card. 12 cards down, 3 to go. And these, I think, the last two are my two favorite sketches. I really like the way the last two cards come out. So here's card number 13, and I'm just going to go ahead and add my die cut. I've already stamped this. I decided to add 2 eggs and just kind of tilt them at a jaunty angle and make sure I don't cover up my sentiment. So that's that. I'll add some, and that completes that card. Now, you don't need to make all 15 cards. You can take out some scraps that you have and cut them with the measurements on the cutting diagrams, and then just put together a card or two. Like, you don't need to do the whole session. You can just use some of the sketches when you need a little bit of inspiration. So don't forget that you have them. And if you want these for keeping, make sure you download them before March 31st, because when this challenge is over, these will no longer be available to download for free. You can only get them from Kendra's card challenge, or Kendra's Patreon, excuse me. So her Patreon group gets access to all her previous challenges and a few extra challenges. I know she does some extra sketches throughout the month, and she does some fun things with that too. So isn't that diagonal pretty? You can see I used a piece of ribbon here on this card, and I'm going to do the same thing with the next card. Oh, sorry, that was the last one. I'm just going to give you a peek at all 15 cards, and I love this card set. I'm going to be sending out some spring and Easter cards to family and friends, and I can't wait. So here they are. Isn't this gorgeous? Like, if you join the Facebook group, you'll be inspired by all the different cards people share. So I'll have the links to Kendra's card challenge and her Facebook group below. I will link to her cutting video if I can find it, and I'm going to link to the Not Too Shabby shop and to the cat scrappiness embellishments that I used, and the cat scrappiness organizing tools. They're amazing. I will also link the Maker Forte tools that I used, and make sure you check out the sponsors of the challenge, and you still have a couple weeks to actually participate. So here you go. You can get these for free. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends. I would also highly recommend, if you do a download, there's a printer friendly version that's not in color. I would recommend definitely print the one in color if you can. It makes it so much easier when you go to put the cards together. So thanks for watching. I'd love to know if you have a favorite card, so leave me a comment. Have a great day, friends.